Welcome to my virtual campfire. I'm Crystal Kelly. It is times like these that our ancestors would have started telling stories around a campfire, searching for meaning in our existence. We all have our corona stories to tell. Think of our phone as the warm glow of a virtual campfire. Each week, listen to stories from all over the world about how we, as humans, fit into the vibrations of Mother Nature and the universe. Collectively, let's co-create a future through conversation and storytelling and music. With love.
This is so much fun. I can't.
I know. Okay.
I've been so excited. I've been telling everyone about it. They're like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!"
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Well, thank you for joining me today on
Of course.
on this Corona life, and tell me where in the world you are and what time of day it is.
So I'm in Denmark, which is a small country in Europe, and right now it's 7 p.m. So
Okay.
it's pretty late at night, compared to you guys.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
I'm in Seattle and it's 10:15 in the morning.
Yeah, so we're in pretty different time zones.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about synchronicities, because I feel like the way that I met you originally was such a random thing. And tell me about how you came to America, came to Seattle, and how that has kind of changed your course maybe of life, and how Corona affected that.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to go to America because I wanted to study there for a year because I thought it was the coolest place in the whole world. So I decided to go there and I found a family, the family I originally stayed with, and I got there. And everything was actually fine in the beginning, and then things kind of started going south. We didn't really click, we didn't share any like hobbies or anything. We just I don't think any of us did anything wrong. I just don't think we clicked as people, which it can happen sometime. And
Definitely.
so yeah, I was actually supposed to move to Walla Walla, that's kind of far away, or somewhere else. They didn't really know where to put me because nobody really wanted me. It sounds funny, but they couldn't find a new family for me in Seattle, so they put a post on Facebook, and I guess that's where you found me.
Yeah.
So I had actually put my mind on moving far away from the school and everything. And then one day, my coordinator, she texted me and she was like, "I found a family for you with 2 girls on the school," and I was stoked. I was so happy. It was amazing. And then I moved over to you guys' place, and it's funny, immediately just opening the door, I just felt this is where I need to be. This is my place. This is my family. This is where I need to be for the rest of my stay. And it turned out like that. But as we both know, things took a turn when Corona hit, and I honestly didn't expect going home. I really didn't expect to go home because they kept telling me, like the company I traveled with, they kept telling me you're not going home, you're not going home. We're gonna keep you here. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect. I want to stay here for as long as possible. And then the exchange students around me started getting sent home, and I got nervous because I was like, how am I gonna be the only person left? That doesn't sound
Yeah.
that doesn't sound real to me.
I remember talking to your parents on the phone when we did a
Yeah.
Zoom call with them, and I had been, I had kind of been like, "Oh no, it'll be fine. Everything's fine. You can stay as long as you want." But I remember talking to them on the phone, and things seemed much more strict in Denmark, at least
Yeah.
initially. And the fact that your dad had to close his business, I was like, well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe it is better if Anna goes home, even though I didn't want you to.
Yeah. So I just remember I was like I was scared that I was gonna be trapped. I always like wanted to have the opportunity to go home if anything like happened to anyone here at home, because I didn't want, like, for an example, my grandparents getting sick and me not being able to come home and like say goodbye to them if that was the case. Um and yeah, so when my parents like told me that that might happen, I kind of changed my mind from, like, I had the mindset of like I'm staying here no matter what, to like, okay, might have to go home. Like my parents, like my dad owns a business, as you say, and like he had to send everyone home, and everything just kind of, it took a turn for the worse, and it
Yeah.
kept doing that for a long time.
So
So
how long have you been home now? Has it been a year?
so yeah, it must have been a year, like around now. I think
Yeah.
I think I got home March 28th, if I
Okay.
remember correctly. So yeah, or at least that's the date I flew home. It took me like 3 days to get home.
Yeah.
You remember I traveled on Thursday night and I wasn't home until like Saturday.
Uh-huh.
So it took a long time to get home. It was crazy journey. It really was.
And then did you quarantine?
I did for 2 weeks. It was terrible. I was sitting in my room knowing that all of my friends was like 5 minutes away and I just couldn't go see them. It was terrible. But I got through it and everything was fine. I didn't have corona, so
Yeah. No, that's great.
everything was good.
What happened, like, how has life changed for you now that you're back? Are you going to school? Like, what is your guys' daily life like?
Okay, so actually we started school when like the new school year started. I started school and everything, and I'd never done like Zoom, like school and on Zoom calls and everything. And I remember one day we had our prime minister, like she was talking to like our country on TV, and all of a sudden she's just like everyone is going home, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is crazy. Like this is not what I expected. And like we all thought it was gonna be like maybe 2 or 3 days. And then as soon as we went home for that day, we got a message from the school saying that we were not going to school the next day either. So just like one day to another, we were home again. And I've been home since I think around November now,
Wow.
doing like online school, and we're still going strong. We really are. I am working though. I still am working. I'm a cashier at a grocery store, so I'm still doing that. Yeah, and I got a boyfriend.
Oh, yay!
So
Tell me. I want to hear. What's his name?
so his name is Frederick. I met him, like I actually knew him before I over to you guys, and we kind of lost contact as I like went there, but then we kind of started texting again, and like we started texting like every day all the time, and then all of a sudden like I was at family birthdays with him and everything, and we're I think we're going 4 months strong now. So we just had like some of our smaller like kindergartens and stuff open up, because like you know how they say that like smaller kids have a harder time getting it.
Yeah.
So they opened that up, and they opened like certain schools up around the country, because like they kind of separated us into like um different groups, depending on how many people
Mhm.
were sick. So yeah, that's kind of how it is for now. I think they said that we might be able to go back after Easter, like April
Mhm.
ish. We might be able to go back. That's like what they're saying right now. But things change all the time. So I don't really expect going back
I
yet.
know. It's you
We'll
kind
see.
of it's such a like unprecedented, like I feel like the rules change, the stories kind of change a little bit. Are
Exactly. And
are
there's a new
people
British version. Like
of
that
the
one just came to
vaccine?
Denmark. No, like of Corona, we have
Oh,
like a
of
British
Corona.
version now. Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard about it?
I
I don't know
maybe
if you heard of.
I don't watch the news, so
So so there is like a British version. I'm guessing it's called the British version since it like because it started in Britain. I don't know. But it just got to Denmark, and it's a bit more contagious actually than the normal one, so people are kind of stressing about that. But yeah, we'll see. We're getting vaccines like slowly here. I don't know about you guys, but they're saying that everyone should be able to get a vaccine by the end of summer. Like everyone who wanted one should have had one by the end of summer. I think that's what they said, but again, I don't really count on anything they're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm taking one day at a time because I don't trust it. I really don't.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like it's we just don't know. There's just so many factors, and we can't like, do you feel like you are in fear when you go to work, or are you just like safe and it's fine?
I don't fear it that much. The only thing I fear is like if I get it and I give it to like grandparents or something like that, people who could die of it. I don't, like, myself, I don't fear it that much. Of course, I'm like following the rules surrounding this because of other people, not so much because of myself though. So I'm not really that scared. I sanitize my hands. I'm like wearing masks and everything at work. So I'm pretty chill about it. I would say I'm not really that scared.
Yeah, well, and you're a pretty laid back person, so
I really am.
I mean, so one of the things, like the premise of what I wanted to do is kind of like a virtual campfire where you like share stories and just touch base with like whatever, like imagine like when you were at our house and like we'd sit around the campfire and
Oh, I
which
miss
we
that.
did. I know.
Yeah, we really did a lot.
Yeah. And it's always so like peaceful and I don't know, I feel like you usually share things that are maybe like stretch your imagination, or you know what I mean, like
Yeah, you get really close and like up personal because like you're just like sitting around there and you're just having like, it's like a safe space, you can say, like
yes,
that, but for everyone, just not just for one person, for like everyone. And it's like it's so nice to like sit around there, like when we would do like s'mores and hot chocolates and just like sit there and everyone would be there, like Alex and Veronica, and everyone would just like be invited and just like one like big family, I would say.
yeah,
And that's like the thing about like you guys' house. I feel like everyone who like stepped inside those doors felt like a part of the family, and
yeah,
it was like the best feeling, like feeling that you belong there, like not like you're just visiting, like you belong there, and it was the best feeling. So the funny thing is, like, I tell everyone about you guys and I tell everyone about you especially, and everyone's like, she sounds like the coolest person ever, and I'm like, right, like everyone when I talk about you, it's just like they sound so laid back and they sound so chill, and I just, I don't know. The thing is, when I talk about you guys, I couldn't find a bad thing to say, never. And that's the crazy thing. Like
it
they,
is.
I like, I don't know. I just miss you guys, and I just want this coronavirus to be over, not just to be able to go back to my normal life because this life is not fun at all, but also to be able to like visit you guys again because I feel like it's so far away, and you can FaceTime all the time, and but it's not the same. It's not the same as being like in the same room. You know how like you pick up people's energy? You can't do that over FaceTime, and that's like the weird thing.
It
Like
is.
that's what I miss. And I miss the smell of sage in my room. That's like one thing I really miss, being able to like burn sage all over the room when you're sad. That's like one thing I really miss.
I
Like
love
the
it.
whole, yeah, like energies. I that's one thing you can't pick up through FaceTime the same way as you can in person. And that's the thing about Corona. Like you're so distant from everyone and you can't see everyone all the time. So you just can't pick up each other's like emotions and like vibes and energies the same way you can when you're in the same room. And that's why like I think that's one of the things I hate about Corona is like you can't be social. Like that's what I miss so much. Because I don't know, I'm really a social person. I am. I mean, I love my alone time, but I'm a social person. So I miss being around people, and I miss being around a lot of people and a lot of different people.
Mhm.
That's like learning new people, like getting to know new people. That's a thing I miss a lot, because that's like one of my highlights of the week is like, oh, I got to know this new person and they were amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I miss that.
It's probably a really good outlet for you to be able to talk to people at the grocery store, actually, because
Right?
yeah.
Like I think I talk to like 300-400 people sometimes when I'm at work. It's
Wow.
crazy because they just go through, and it's small talk, but then sometimes you have those people who come in and they like talk to you, or they make a little joke or something, and it just like it lightens up your day. Like it's amazing. I love it when people come in and they like have a funny like joke or something like that. Like it brightens up my day. I love it. That's like my favorite part of my job. That's when people are like happy and open and
I
want to
had
talk to you.
Yeah, I had a funny experience actually with a person at the grocery store checkout, and I was buying a big thing of sage. Which,
Sounds about right.
I usually grow my sage, but it's been such a heavy year. I've burned through all of everything I've grown. So
Wow, that's crazy.
I had a friend who her coffee shop was having like just really weird energy, and just things were strange. And so I said, oh, I'll come sage it. And so I stopped at the grocery store and I bought like a big thing of sage. And as I was checking out, the checker says, she says, how do you use this? Like, can you tell me about it? And of course, she asked the exact right person. And I told her all about how to use it. I told her, to have an intention in her mind, and to use it in corners, because just like dust, energy gets stuck in corners, and so you kind of like move the energy around. And I just kind of explained what the basic principle of sage was, and she was like so excited. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go home and do this tonight. And it was a really cool thing, because like you could tell she genuinely like had thought about before, I wonder what this does. And then but
Yeah.
didn't have anywhere to look it up, or didn't have time or something. But then just like me coming across her path, she's like, oh, tell me about this. And I can't wait to go back and hear how she did, with her
Yeah,
sage.
I love that. I remember seeing it on your Facebook and on your Instagram, like you being at the coffee shop and like saging it, and I was like, oh, I wish you could like hop on a plane and come sage my room and my house and everything. Like it's crazy because I don't know how sage works actually, but I feel like the thought of like having it like in your room and like cleaning out the energy, I think it's about your mindset. Like your mindset is like, oh, now my room is clean from like these bad weird energies. Like I think it's all about that too. Like it kind of changes your mindset, and I love everything about it, and I miss it. I miss you like running around the house like burning it and like being like, oh, there's bad energies, or like it's a full moon today. We gotta do it. I love that. That's like my favorite part.
So it's such a daily part of our lives. Like now Penny won't even go to sleep until I sage her room. And
She won't. Oh, that's amazing.
yeah,
She's so cute. I miss her. I miss
cute.
her.
So do you sage in Denmark? Like,
I don't really know anyone who does it. It's not like, spirituality and like energies. It's not really a common topic in Denmark to talk about or like to be interested about. I think some people do, but not a lot of people. Like some, you know, I honestly, I'm thinking because like I don't think I know anyone who does it, and that's like the thing. It was so new for me too. Like it was, I knew what it was and like I'd heard about it, but that was about it. I'd never tried it. I'd never seen anyone do it, and I learned so much being at you guys' house, and that's like I've brought it like with me, and I've like talked to people and like taught people about it like being like, oh, you do it like this, and then like it cleans out the room, and they're like, oh. Like, I don't know, I just feel like everyone should experience that on the bad days, like having their room staged. It's a whole like different way of like cleaning out your mind. I love it.
It is, and I love how you say that it's a mindset, because I feel like whatever we want to create in our lives, in our future, whatever, it begins with an idea, with something in our mind that we just kind of plant as like a little seed, and then it can grow from there. And it's kind of neat for me to see you get exposed to something that was completely different from the way you grew up in Denmark. And I don't think everybody in the United States is like me. I think it just
I don't
happened to
think so
be.
either. I don't think so either. And that's like the good thing about you. Like no one is really like you. Like it's you're a special person in like all the best ways. And that's what I really like miss. Like being exposed to so many new things and so many like things that you never like hear about, like I there's a lot of things that I hadn't heard about until like I met you guys, and like you just want to experience everything, and you know you always make time for everything, and that's like one thing I really like, that like if you wanted to do something or if anyone else wanted to do something, you would always make time for it.
I like I feel so restricted not being able to travel. Like that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, you and I went to Mexico
Right.
as right as things were shutting down. And when I look back on it, I think, wow, I didn't know that was going to be our last trip for a long time. Like,
No,
um, and obviously we made the best of it anyway. I mean, it was a great trip, but
it
it's
really
so
was.
crazy to think about, like, and I don't really know when we're going to be able to travel,
Me neither. Like that's also a really big part of like being from Denmark. Like we're such a small country and we're surrounded by so many other countries and cultures. So like we travel all the time. Like I can hop in my car and drive for 3 hours and I'll be in Germany. Like different culture, different people, different country, different language. Like everything is different. And I can hop on like a 4 hour plane and I'll be in Spain. Like that's the crazy thing. Like we don't have to go far to like be in a completely different culture. So I think that's like a really big part, at least for me.
Mhm.
And I know for a lot of my friends too, like we're all going crazy not being able to travel. Like most people I know travel at least once or twice a year.
Mhm.
And it's
Like
for
to
like
other
two,
countries.
yeah, exactly. Like for at least like 1, 2, sometimes 3 weeks. Like that's
Wow.
most people go to like somewhere in Europe for like 2 weeks. That's like a really common like way to do it, like Italy, Spain, all that kind of stuff. Like that's where people go to like go on vacation in the summer.
So have you traveled at all since you've been home?
I have not. I've been in Copenhagen. That's what we did for summer because my parents were like, we don't want to be in quarantine for 2 weeks when we get home, like with their work and everything. Like they just didn't have time for it. So we went to Copenhagen and some other like smaller islands around Denmark. And I think we were away for like 2.5 weeks. And it
Mhm.
was amazing. Like we visited some friends who live like 3 hours away from us, close to Copenhagen, at their beach house. And I don't know, I haven't really traveled that much around Denmark because since other countries aren't that far, we don't really go like a lot of places in Denmark because you're just like, oh, like we might as well fly somewhere else. So I really loved like going around Denmark. We call it Tour de Denmark, like Tour de France.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what we did for summer, and I really loved it. I got like to I got to learn about Danish culture and like history, and honestly I had expected it to be a little boring. Like I really wasn't that excited, I must admit, but I really loved it. I really did.
I
So
know.
we're we're getting the best out of it.
Yeah.
And
I remember asking you, what would I know Denmark for?
what did I say? I don't even remember.
You said The Little Mermaid.
Oh, The Little Mermaid. Yeah. Or maybe Lego. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I
Legos
think
for sure.
Lego is like, that's like a thing that Denmark created, but like a thing in Denmark that would probably be The Little Mermaid, because everyone knows that story. And so The Little Mermaid, what do I know? Thumbelina, do you know that one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah, I love that story.
That's like one of my favorites. Yeah,
it's mine
me
too.
The Steadfast Tin Soldier.
I kind of know that
one?
story. I don't remember it as well.
Okay, the Tinderbox.
Yeah.
You see, there's like a lot of them that you kind of know them, but you don't really remember the story.
Yeah.
That was like a crazy thing to me, because I had no idea that you guys knew all of them. That was so crazy to me, because like these are my like childhood stories. These are the ones that I like, that my parents like read to me like as a kid when I had to go to bed. That was like my bedtime stories. And that's the thing about Denmark, being from such a small country. As soon as anything from our country is like mentioned in like a movie, or from someone else from another country like mentions something from our country, we're like, oh my god, you know it, you know what that is. Because like no one knows about Denmark. Like
it's
we
so
have
true.
a funny right, we have like a funny joke, because like people have made like world maps without Denmark in it, because people don't know that it exists. And it's just crazy. Like you just see like Germany and then nothing, like just water, and we're like, where are we at? Like we're right here. We have made like Lego and everything, and you just don't know who we are.
That is so funny. Like you're just
right. We're just not there. Like the world maps without Denmark, they exist, trust me. You can Google them and we just won't be on the map. It's so much fun. Like we've made a lot of jokes about it here.
That's hilarious. You're completely off the map.
we just really are. Like we have to come up with something like really great for people to like know who we are.
Oh,
and I think we've done something, but not a lot.
I can't wait to put this broadcast out to the world, and I'm gonna have Denmark in all caps.
Oh, Denmark, the country no one knows exists.
Yes. I'll be like, so I have funny. A friend there. It actually is real.
It's not just a myth.
Yeah. Just like your mermaids, you're like, everyone thinks it's a myth.
And it just really exists.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. That's so funny.
So do you think mermaids really exist?
I see, the thing is, I'm like, how would people just come up with the idea? That's like my thought. Like someone has to have seen something, but I don't think it'd have to be like particularly a mermaid. I don't know. I think it might have come from people like thinking that, like, how some people say that we're like made out of fish, or like we came from the fish and not from the monkeys. I think it might have like come from there. I don't know. I'm a person, like, I'm always open for the thought about it, but if I need to like truly 100% believe in it, I need to like see it with my own eyes. Like I'm that kind of person. Like I don't believe in stuff until I've like seen it myself, or like someone, like a lot of people have said like, here it is, like this is a picture of it, like not a Photoshop picture of course, but like
right.
I need more proof and more evidence, like of that kind of thing. So, but I'm also not like an anti-believer. I'm not like, no, that doesn't exist, because what do I know? Like I'm a little person here on earth. I don't know everything.
What do you think about aliens? Do you think they exist?
That's the crazy thing. With the whole Area 51 and everything, I'm open. Again, I'm open to the thought. I've thought about it myself, and I'm not like, oh, I believe in it, but I'm also not like, I don't believe in it. I'm like somewhere in the middle, being pushed back and forth, between not really believing in it and really actually believing in it. Because I don't know, I think my fantasy and like my logic is fighting. each other when it comes to stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
they're really like I don't know, struggling to figure out what it really is. But I must say, aliens is one of the things that I might actually believe in, since like the whole Area 51 thing exists and it's like so secretive. I'm like, what can be so secret? Like I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that's like how I feel about it.
There's there's a lot like in like kind of the conversations that I follow, because you know I'm probably like more of a fringe person with the news that I follow, but a lot of people are talking about like disclosing and you know governments disclosing information about that they have about extraterrestrials or aliens or whatever you want to call it. And I just recently watched this video of this girl in Costa Rica, and she's just been sort of on this like path of going wherever she feels like it, like you know just following your day, a lot like how I see myself
I
going
was
through my
about to
day.
say kind of like you.
Yeah. And she said that she stopped at this restaurant and it said it was the worst restaurant in the world, and they were really really hungry, but they were in the middle of nowhere, and they were like, well, we have to stop at the worst restaurant in the world because we have no other choice. And so they stopped there, and as they went in, there were all these like extraterrestrial like alien things, like there were alien t-shirts and like all this stuff. And so when they sat down to eat, it ended up being like really good Italian food in Costa
Oh,
Rica. Yeah,
whoa, that's so weird.
random, right? And they were like, this is so random. And why all the alien stuff? Like, what's going on? And the server said, oh, the owner of the restaurant was abducted by an alien years ago. And so we're just really into it here. And she was just like, what? This is such a crazy story. And so they went back another night to talk to the owner. And he said that there was like a lake in Costa Rica that they say that UFOs come out of the lake. And then she went to the lake. And yeah, and she said that they saw water do something that they've never seen happen. Like they were in a boat and the water just started splashing around, and like, and it had been sunny, and then all this splashing, and then it turned into rain. And she said they didn't see anything come out of the lake per se, but they couldn't really see anything because the water had just gone wild and you know like done all this weird thing, and then this torrential downpour happened. And shortly after the it started clearing up after it just like downpoured for a little bit. And in the sky in the distance they could just see these really bright flashing lights. And this is in the middle of like there's no city, there's not a city light, or you know what I mean. And she
Yeah,
said it's just really fascinating. But when I hear stories like that, I'm always like, it was something. Like
right.
you don't know what it is, but it's something.
You know, I'm a person like there's always an explanation to everything, but I just don't know the explanation, you know, and that's like I love that story though. Like that's amazing.
I'll
It
send
was
you the
crazy.
video of
Oh, I would
that.
love to see it.
Yeah, because
I
it's
really would.
the way she tells the story is it's pretty cool, and you're kind of like, wait, what, you know. And she was saying on the video that she hopes that more and more conversations like her story, and then even I think conversations like what we're having, just start bringing it more to the forefront of our minds, you know. And
Right.
then maybe that can open up ideas, and maybe like truths can be finally found out, or at least like theories.
Yeah, I feel like the reason the government gets away with like disclosing all these informations is like people don't like they don't seek the truth enough. Like they're not pushing the government enough like to tell the truth. Like some people are, but not enough. So I feel like you're completely right saying that like we need this conversation to be had, because like we need to bring it into the light, and like we need to like seek like the explanation to whatever this is. Like it might not be aliens, but then it might be something else, like something else that's crazy that we don't know anything about. So I feel like we need to like push the government to tell us like what they know, because I don't feel like it's okay for us as like human beings to not know what's going on around us.
I agree. I think that we have like a natural curiosity about the universe, you know, and the universe is so vast. I can't imagine that we're the only species that is smart,
Right?
you know?
And like that would be crazy, us being the only species or like the only thing alive in like this entire universe. Like imagine how many other planets are here. Like we're such a small part in such a big puzzle, and I just think that we're kind of selfish thinking that we're the only ones here. And I think we need to like stop being selfish and like seek people or things or what it might be that's around us, because I don't know, we might learn something. They might
Exactly.
know something we don't.
Yeah. And I also think like being kind and compassionate and really listening to stories, you know, and since we can't connect in person, it's I feel like it's really fun and special to share stories like we're doing right now.
Right. That was also like when you texted me, I was like, that is so exciting, because I really wanted to like talk to you, because I miss like these conversations. Like this might be for a podcast, but this feels like just another night in like the house,
Yeah.
talking about everything and anything, and sometimes nothing. Like we would bring up everything, and everything would be talked about, and like we would hear everyone's like views on everything. And I feel like it taught me a lot, like, and it opened me up to like a lot of new things, like, learning from you everything about like vibrations and like emotions and everything. Like it taught me a lot, and it kind of like taught me to connect more with myself too, and like learn new stuff about myself, which I really appreciate, and I really like, I still use it a lot, like to this day,
Mhm.
everything that you taught me. And I miss having those conversations. I miss being able to just like go up in the kitchen and be like, I've had a weird day, have you had a weird day? And then the conversation just flows from there. Like it was amazing. And
So
like,
go ahead.
this like feeling weird without having a reason, like nothing about to happen, but like you still might feel weird or off or something, and then you be like, oh, it's a full moon, you're like, oh, so it's okay, I feel this way. Like, there's always a reason, and I might just not know it, but then you might, or someone else might. And just like this whole thing with like moons and everything, like vibrations and energies and everything, like it teaches you why you feel the way you feel, even though you don't know. Like you might not know why you're having an off day, but there is a reason, and that's what I love about all this stuff. Like
So right
finding a
now
reason.
in our in like the universe right now, there's no planets in retrograde. So that might not really mean very much to you, like, and you know, you kind of have to so when a planet is in retrograde, each planet represents a different part, like aspect of our lives. So like when Mercury is in retrograde, for example, that's probably the most popular one that people know of, is like communications breakdown, and people have like tech problems, or just like it's hard to connect. And right now, for the next 2 months, there's no planets at all in retrograde. So the universe is essentially like, just if you conceptually imagine the universe moving forward, nothing's holding it back right now. So I believe that's why I'm reaching out and talking to everybody right now, because we're all moving forward. There's obviously we're all human. There's going to be things that hold us back, but cosmically right now, we're all moving forward. So so that's why I kind of wanted to have these conversations during this time.
That's amazing because I'm a type of person who's like everything needs to weigh out. Like if you're having a good day, then tomorrow might be a bad day. Like, everything has to weigh out good and bad. And I feel like recently everything has been like moving forwardly really nicely. And you saying this is like, oh, that's why, again, like the whole like that's why I'm feeling this way, or like that's why life is like this right now. And that's crazy.
I
Thank you for
know.
telling me.
Yeah.
That's like a whole realization for me.
Well, it kind of was for me too when I heard whoever said it first. And I was like, wow, I tend to be very productive in general. But I thought I want to just do this right now for this reason, and just see where it all goes. And if nothing else, then we touched base and we got to talk and have like a really awesome conversation.
Exactly. And it's also amazing for the two of us to like be able to go back and like listen to it over again, like the highlights of our conversations. Like sometimes, because sometimes when you have like a really interesting and like really good conversation, you just wish to like go back and relive it because it was so like amazing. And that's like the good thing about podcasts. You can always like go back and like relive this whole like conversation we just had,
It's
and
really
like listen
cool.
to the stories.
Yeah, because I find my mind isn't as good as of a memory as like if I write something down, or obviously if it's recorded and then you listen or watch it again. Sometimes I'll like even watch a movie that I've seen a number of times and I didn't remember a certain part of it, and it's like, oh my gosh, so our memories are kind of not all that great.
They really aren't. Sometimes you're like, oh wait, déjà vu or something like that, and you relive a moment again. That's like the crazy thing about our mind. It like completely controls itself.
It's true. Oh
That's
my gosh.
amazing.
Well, Anna, I just want to say thank you again for like chatting, and I miss you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. I
Yeah.
miss you more.
Thank you for listening to my virtual campfire. I'm humbled and grateful, and with heartfelt thanks, thank you for listening all the way to the end. I hope that it caused a vibration or a thought or sparked something inside of you to make a positive change.